Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Angèle Cristina, a relationship and empowerment coach, and today we're going to look at some red flags in relationships. Are you ready? Once more, we're going to look at Reddit for some inspiration and coaching advice on the side. You're welcome. What are some red flags? Relationship or platonic, relationships are not only romantic, very good point, that you wish you recognized earlier. All through this video, if you have any comments or experiences that you went through that you would like to share with us, please do drop them below. Red flag, saying that they are needy and require constant attention, just means they'll be too clingy and never give you space. And if you ask for it, they'll get super upset. Okay, I have to put my hand up for this one, that I was one of the clingy people and I never gave space to who I was with. But I feel that if you are a person who needs space and the person is clingy and you don't like how they make you feel, yeah, could be a red flag for you. We have a funny one here, but perhaps you agree with this or you don't agree with this. The fact that she was in love with a 63-year-old dude is a red flag for this person. Well, I don't know if this happened before or after they were together. And do you think age is an issue? And is it a red flag for you in relationships? Another red flag, his temper. From now on, I break up with any guy who thinks breaking something in anger is acceptable. Yeah, I mean, obviously I think red flags are different for you and me, and what's acceptable for you might not be acceptable for me, and vice versa. But temper is something that if you are brought up in a calm family, you can't accept around you. Temper for me is something a bit more long-term, perhaps. But hey, for this person, it's a red flag, so it's a no. Another red flag. If you ever feel that you are becoming a linchpin for someone's existence, that they are emotionally incapable of handling themselves without you, latch onto you for their own good, get out. They will drain you dry in any number of ways until you end up both drowning. Ooh. This mentions what we said before with the clingy, but also other layers and other things. So here we are bringing out a couple of things like emotionally incapable of being alone, also the draining you in any amount of ways, and I feel that this person is also referring to financial, but not only, maybe even emotional. So would draining you financially be a red flag? I hope it is. It's not mentioned here, but I would like to bring it up. And one more red flag from this post. If you think they drink too much, they probably do. Get gone. Would this be a red flag for you? I cannot judge anything in anyone's relationship, but if for you it is a red flag and it makes you feel uncomfortable, then
No.
Okay, so we have another post here. What are some red flags you've seen in your past relationships as you've gotten older that young women should look out for? Ooh, thank you for this post. I appreciate it. I would like to say my head's screwed on straight, but it would always be good to hear from the experience of others. That's a very nice expression. I might steal it from her. And with all these high school aged women in the chat, which are going to be getting boyfriends and girlfriends probably for the first time, I think this thread could really help them avoid some of the emotional trauma a lot of young girls endure in their first ever relationship. That's really kind. Thanks for sharing this post. I feel your empathy. I'll start off the list. And the list is composed of 10 points. Number 1, is passive aggressive, treats you different when you are out hanging out with friends. I agree with this one. If they change their behavior and they are different with you and they are different with someone else, they might be hiding something or they're not ready to show you a part of them yet. So depending on how deep you are in the relationship, this could be something that you keep an eye for. Number 2, begs for nudes, revealing pictures. Absolutely yes, definitely for this one. If you are looking for a serious relationship and they are at a short instance asking you for this,
Oh no!
I think that's a big red flag the size of a blanket, so I would run away. Also, whilst we are on this note, be very aware of what you share. They might use it against you in the future, or those pictures might get out and you won't like them being seen by employers, family members, future children. Be very careful if you do choose to share nudes. Number 3, buys you things and uses it as leverage. Yep, I agree with this one. I think this is a very good red flag. Do you agree? Let me know. Number 4, constantly trying to date the freshman people 2 to 3 years younger. Okay, here I'm not going to comment because I'm not sure of the ages of freshmen because I am in Europe, not in the US. But to date people 2 to 3 years younger, to me it always depends if they are adults or not, and I will not go into it because I'm not sure of the age group. Number 5, uses their mental state as an excuse to make you feel bad. Yeah. This one I absolutely agree. And if you're going to be in a relationship out of pity, that is not love. Pity and love are completely different things. But if they use their mental state to get you, I don't think that's really nice. And also, mental health is such a deep thing that to be used against you is not a wise option, and I would stay away from people who do this. Number 6, doesn't feel comfortable talking about you or having you around their friends. With regards to the partners not sharing you or showing you off to their friends and keeping you hidden away, have a conversation and say, I would really like to meet your friends, and see where that conversation goes and then take it from there. Number 7, their friends are homophobic, racist, or sexist. Not much more comment needed here. True, I agree. And if this is your boundary, then don't accept that in your partner. Number 8, I really do suggest refraining from dating older people until you're literally 20, maybe, or even later. But, okay, so here there's an age thing. If you're dating someone older, see who they dated in the past. If they have only dated people around your age, more than likely they are preying on younger, easier to fool people. The easier to fool part is unfortunate, but the younger we are in relationships, the more blind we are. Number 9, they say you look pretty when you cry. Okay. Sometimes this comment can be innocent, but other times it's not and can be a red flag. I'm very confused. If someone compliments me and says I'm pretty whilst I'm crying, I know I ugly cried. So if they compliment you whilst you're crying, this is odd. I don't know if it would be a red flag for me, but I will definitely tell them to stop doing that and just hug me. And number 10, they say they're into BDSM, but they don't know any other terms other than sub or dom, lack knowledge on it altogether. Men specifically, from my experience, but honestly people of all genders use the term BDSM out of context and use it to literally just abuse their partner. I already have a red flag here. Even just whilst reading this, I'm uncomfortable. BDSM is a form of sexual expression that picks at your brain, and if your brain isn't developed enough to truly understand the psychological effects of BDSM and the point of BDSM in the first place, you shouldn't do it. The internet has fooled kids into thinking sex is all about control, and it's not. And a lot of people don't actually understand BDSM, they just want control or power in some way. And a lot of people use BDSM as a subconscious form of self-harm and a way to harm others. If it's something you're interested in, that's okay. Just beware of the people who use this as an excuse to be abusive. Make sure you and your partner have both done extensive research, and I'll also suggest waiting till your brain is fully developed. Okay. Wow, I did not expect this coming up as a red flag from this person, but I feel that anything related to sex and what you do, consent of course, hello, red flag. I don't know how she went into BDSM here, but then did not speak about consent. However, she did mention that this is used as a form of abuse, so be very, very careful. If this is mentioned to you, don't fall under peer pressure. Have discussions, ask the people who care for you to explain to you. Don't rely only on what you see in porn or on the internet because we are so fooled. I think this person is quite right with these words. Do your research and do not feel obliged to do what they want you to do and you're afraid of losing relationships. Listen to a wiser, older woman. There was that point about control and power that I also would like to bring up here, because for me, relationship is an equal agreement. So if there is someone who uses, in this case, BDSM or anything else, could be money, could be their job, could be providing a house, and they are more powerful than you in the relationship, and they are using it against you in the relationship, yes, that is a red flag for me. You should get out or kick them out. I would like to take this opportunity during this video to remind you to give me a like and subscribe to this video so that I can give you more content and value like this. Next, red flag post. Red flags mean something. I hope so. I'm doing a whole video about them. I was in a narcissistic relationship in 2018. Me too. Not in 2018, but before. It has taken me this long to learn how to love myself again. Self-love, what a powerful tool we all have and forget. And want to move on with my life. I will say being in that relationship was hell. But what I learned a lot about my personal boundaries, how to spot someone not right for me, and how to let them go. Good points. Good points. Personal boundaries, something that does not exist with many people, and I love sharing it, so do hit me up on my free call if you're interested. How to spot someone not right for me, and how to let them go. All these three things this person is sharing that she learned while being in a narcissistic relationship. When you are in relationships like that, you definitely learn what you don't want. But the biggest thing I learned was to listen to all the red flags going on. Interesting she uses the word listen, because I'm going to put it in here. I feel for me, the biggest tool we have against red flags is our intuition. Your intuition always knows how you feel, and if it feels uncomfortable or weird and you feel this red flag, your intuition is waving a red flag, and you can say no and stop this or set a boundary. Listen to it. It's always right. I was talking to this guy a state over from me. I happen to live in a sprawling metropolis with great public transportation, but red flags kept popping up. He said he had a personality disorder, that he had narcissistic tendencies. Okay, if they tell you before, does that make it okay? I was rather skeptical, but he had recently lost a ton of weight, so I thought maybe he has an inflated sense of self. I put it in the back of my mind, but didn't forget it. He would love bomb me all day and even went so far as saying good morning and good night. Is it wrong to say good morning and good night? Am I too old for this? Like, what's happening? I noticed he was getting attached way too early. We had not even met yet. He would also get sexual and make sexual comments that made me uncomfortable. There you go. If you're uncomfortable, it's not okay. Let them know. Again, I made excuses, but I didn't forget it. The straw that broke the proverbial camel's back was when he wanted me to go to him. Okay. As I said, he lived the state over and in the middle of nowhere. I don't drive and would have to use several modes of transportation. I put my foot down. I said, you have to come to a place I can access, neutral ground. Yes. Neutral ground. I'll get back to this as well after. Because the sexual comments made me uncomfortable. He was saying things like we were going to have sex on the first date, and that was a big no-no for me. It's good that she knew it was a no-no. The love bombing stopped and communication slowed to a crawl. When I called him out on it, he decided that I was not worth the effort and we cut communication. Moral of the story. Red flags mean something. Wow, okay, so here we can see that this person was being pushed on text. Maybe she didn't like the good morning and good evening, well, fair enough, but maybe the person was using them to get in her brain. However, I want to make a point about the neutral ground. Something that I would like to share with you today as a tip is that if you're going to have a conversation with someone and that it is an important conversation, Ideally, you have it in a place where it is neutral ground. You know, I just talked about power. If there's anything to do with power, even in non-romantic relationships here we're talking, if there's someone in your family that you feel is above you, go to a neutral ground. Go outdoors, go in a cafe, go in a public space so that no one can raise their voice, no one can feel more powerful because they are in their own building, in their own house, in their own property. I feel I wanted to underline this for you to share a really, really useful relationship tip. You're welcome. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Red Flags in Relationships. I do remind you to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you'll get notified every time I upload one of these videos. And before we go, my Maltese word for today. Speaking about red flags, I'm going to teach you the color red. Ahmar. Ahmar. Drop below your word for the color red in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, you do you because no one else matters.